Alright everyone, here we are looking at the finals for the Pantheoner tournament for this Seven Wonders duel with expansion Pantheon. We are seeing YuvyJelly versus myself, and let's just start right in. So, first pick, they pick Temple of Artemis. Next pick, I'm going to pick the Sanctuary. And then from there, I also pick the other extra turn, the Sphinx. And then here, they're leaving down with Circus Maximus, so I'm going to be wary of taking gray cards for this game. Then here we're going to look at no extra turns, and I'm picking first, meaning I'm likely going to end up with pyramids. I think the Mausoleum is the best of these. I'd rank them Mausoleum, then Colossus, then Great Lighthouse, then Pyramids. Kind of like a B, then C, then two D tiers. So I think a lot of people do like the Great Lighthouse, and I favor it more than the pyramids. But yeah, anyway, so YuvyJelly starts out taking yellow before green, before gray, before brown. So I already know that they're a smart player doing that. Because that just seems like the right move in my opinion. Okay, so then we look over here and we see that I take the science, so I go yellow, then green, so green being next. I also don't want to take a gray resource right now. You see the, the brown resources right there. Both are touching a gray god card, and I don't. That's what I mean. I don't want a god card to be revealed from the gray pantheon. Those Egyptian gods, especially Ra, you don't want your opponent to have first dibs on, and we're both being wary of that. So let's continue on. Think yeah. So myself, I put um, a Greek god up close to them. I think that was a tough move. I've ended up putting Aphrodite close to them. I give them a 9 pointer. So I worried that they were going to have 9 points against me. And if we're both even players, then it shouldn't come down to a science victory. It should be we both block each other's science victories, and it'll come down to points. And so I end up taking this science card right here. Oh no. Yeah, YuvyJelly ends up ignoring science altogether. Surprise to me. I kind of want that science card, but I see that since they took one of those brown resources, that means that I can decide where the gods are. So normally I would take another green card, but making sure they don't get Raw close to themselves, I paid 1 coin for the brown resource right there. Giving them the free brown resource, which is a good bait because a better move would have been for them to have taken the science. I feel, but um, but yeah, they left the science for me, and I'm glad for that. Um, then I think right now my opponent probably, what did they end up doing? But they like gray resources and they're fine revealing something. I end up discarding because I need some coins. I discard the 1 coin clay. I'm feeling like if I'm gonna go science, I already have two, then I need more money than I need clay. So yeah, there's where a time where you would discard a brown resource, at least for myself. Then now I have three different of these god uh, symbols right here. See, I got the Phoenician, I got the Egyptian token, and I've got this mythology token for Greek. And that just is for being able to see what these gods are and where they end up going. And so I pretty much know what gods are where. I know I put Aphrodite here. I think I put Isis right here. I wanted, a dumb Egyptian god close to them because the other two are just way powerful. And then I put, I think, a 7 coin and giver right there, and it's a special 7 coins. If you don't spend them, they're worth 7 points at the end of the game. A point a coin, but that's 5 or 6 coins for 7 points. That's not super great. So, anyways, we'll continue on. Um, So you've discards blue. That's a normal thing with good players that they're going to discard the blue for coins. You need some color that you decide to discard for coins. So if it's not going to be blue, I don't know what it's going to be. And you also need to be discarding the reds. So anyhow, you need coins. Just straight up, you're just going to have to get coins. So zooming out, now that we got a little more resources, I end up getting a free clay. Yeah, I only really need one clay, maybe two with the my mausoleum, but not too worried about that. And my opponent has the clay reserve, so playing this like small little marginal gain for making their clay cost more doesn't even help there. So one clay is enough for me. Now I end up needing to give them a good choice. So they have two great choices here. Um, they probably should take the science and bait me into taking a gray card, but I think they really value these gray cards and they want me to reveal two cards to them rather than them accidentally revealing one to them. So, which is great because one of my warnings that I have said forever is do not let, even in the base game, don't let your opponent get three science in age one. But for sure in Pantheon, don't let your opponent get three science in age one. So that helped for sure. And then I have five different god symbols you see right there, and can and know exactly what's coming. So do I have Ra close to myself? You'll see actually what ends up happening. But I don't get any yellow cards, so that was a struggle not having any yellow cards here. So I'm gonna discard here, and my opponent knows the little trick. They're not a noob, but they know the trick that you can use an extra turn at the very end of age one. If you're the first player, you can do the first player trick. The second player can't really do that. The second player could, if I had just a ton of money and two extra turns, I could spend one, then another to the first one to become like the first player because I offset it, and then the other to take these two. Yeah, the second player has to use two extra turns to do the same thing, and that's just too much of a waste. And you're giving the first player an advantage if you use two extra turns right there. Unless they were very cheap and you grabbed Raw and stole their extra turn. That's the only time I would do as a second player. But anyways, so my opponent is going to use that extra turn. They're going to turn that wasted, useless red military card into coins, and now they're sitting at 20 coins, which is really great. I'm sitting at 8 coins because my rule is I want to have at least 8 coins going to the next stage so I could afford anything in the Pantheon. Um, the trick with that is I already know what gods are in the Pantheon, so I'm not going to be too surprised with what comes out. All right, and then my opponent takes another turn, and that extra turn, and yet another turn, 3 turns in a row. That's why that first player trick is really good. Got a bunch of coins, got the reserve to get even more coins, and now they're going to start this age. And what do you think they pick? So, seeing right here, they end up they could have taken the gate right there, and I think they do end up taking the gate. Yeah, that's what they do. Because if you look down here at the gods, there's only one Egyptian god left, and that's Ra. So we have Aphrodite, 9 points. Isis, take a card from the discard pile to build one of your wonders for free. 7 coins, and also points for each coin you don't spend. And of those 7 coins. And then Ishtar, get a law token as a science victory for you. And then the Divinity Gate, which is helpful for it. It takes the top card of each of these decks and then uses them to your advantage. It actually, you pick one of the top 5 or top cards of each deck, right? So that's what's going to happen right here. And then the last one, Anubis, that'll be important. That lets you reuse a wonder. So they're going to unbuild a wonder. So the Temple of Artemis, they're likely going to all right. So But before they unbuild it, they know that I have 8 coins and that I could afford the gate, and they do not want me to do that. So they go right ahead and they buy the gate, fortunately. And they have such a coin advantage that I can't even build a wonder to then use Anubis. So they're going to get that extra turn back. Plus, they're going to steal an extra turn wonder of mine. Interestingly, they chose Sanctuary to be taken. So the Sanctuary, that's going to be making gods cost 2 less for them. That's when you want to build a little bit earlier if you really plan to use its ability. I really don't value this wonder as an extra turn wonder that highly. I think it's about level with Sphinx, but maybe I'd give Sphinx a little higher rate there. Maybe if I'm hurting in money and I want to grab a bunch of gods and it's I need to use an extra turn early, but I don't like the incentivized early turn extra or wonders because um, yeah, if you're incentivized to build it early, then you're going to miss out on the other incentive to build an extra turn late, and it's good to build those extra turns late. But you've got the Sanctuary saying, actually, it might be good to build it early. And then you have other ones like Piraeus that's like, oh, it might be good to build me early. But nah, yeah, you want to just save all those extra turns to the end. All right. So for me, I end up, think I got greedy here and I may have the taken law. No. I wanted some coins. Okay, so I knew that we'd be fighting over the gods eventually, and I didn't want to. I'm stalling right here. I don't want to reveal any cards here. They can't afford Ishtar. I've got these 7 coins from Astarte, which could turn into points later on if we need to come down to points. My opponent discards a blue card for some coins. I'm not sure what their plan is. Are they going to try to beat me military? If they try, then I'll have initiative in the next round. So let's see what they do. But me, I think I see that they can afford Ishtar, and I say, no, I'm gonna. Oh, wait, oh, I didn't want them to go military, so I discarded that military card. Okay, then maybe they take Ishtar. My reasoning probably for not taking Ishtar was because if you look at the progress tokens, there's already law out there. It's an identical token, so maybe part of me said, nah, don't do that. Because you've got 2 science out there that you may be able to grab a progress token from. And grabbing theology is what I really want to do, so I can have more extra turns. All right, so moving on, I do end up using one of my coins from Astarte to grab Ishtar. And so I have 0 coins left other than Astarte's coins. I don't want to use Astarte's coins just in case it does come down to points. But yeah, I'm sitting at 4 science right now. And yeah, so we'll continue on. Now, YuvyJelly ends up rebuilding that or unbuilding that wonder, so now they can grab a whole nother 12 coins, an incredible feat already. And then I'm going to just discard this, hoping that they'll grab something here and that I'll get what's under it, perhaps the laboratory. But they have their extra turn, and I didn't want to take this card, the barracks, because then, or discard that card rather, because then I would lose out on the customs house, which I've kind of built a strategy around taking the customs house. I think that the customs house, it helps out with letting you have not worry about Circus Maximus, and often I'll have an opponent with Circus Maximus, or I'll have an opponent with a bunch of gray cards, and it ends up being very expensive for me to use gray cards. So that's why I build a strategy around getting that customs house. It's okay if I get the forum, but really what I want is the customs house. And I have no yellow cards at all, so I was not about to just give that up freely. And my opponent, they see that this is a science card that I need to get to 5 science. They're not going to let that happen. No way. They end up burying it under a wonder, and then taking another turn so that they can take the laboratory. And them taking the laboratory means I can't grab it later on. So they're worried about I have this mausoleum that I can grab a card from the discard pile. And so them grabbing it themselves, that's going to give them just 1 point, but also make it impossible for me to take it. There's no gate left, so Nisaba from the Mesopotamian gods can't be utilized. Uh, so that was a good move and a good use of that extra turn to stop me pushing any more in science. And so now I end up just discarding that gray card because no, I don't want my opponent to use Circus Maximus on me and have that advantage. I may consider baiting them, but right now I just need the coins and I don't want to lose out on the chance to have grabbed 2 coins when just to have them give me initiative in the next turn or in the next round. Um, so they're not going to push in military unless it's good for them. And I need these military cards gone before I bait them and grab a gray card. So I do consider actually grabbing this drawing room card to bait them, but ultimately it's better to have 2 coins, and that's all I'm getting really is 2 coins. I don't have the luxury of having a bunch of yellow cards, so I'm suffering here. I am sitting at 4 coins plus the 6 over here. I'm at 10. I'm watching my coins carefully. I have the advantage of using the Sphinx if I needed to, but really that's not crossing my mind very much. I'm just thinking of using that in the future for one more science in age 3 and hoping somehow I get the 6th science. All right, so I end up taking this yellow card. Hopefully, I'm thinking I'm going to discard everything else, so that will pay for itself, those 3 coins. And the shelf query, um, that that's going to be pretty useful if it does come down to points, having 2 stone, and so I'm wary of that. Okay, then my opponent, do they take the shelf query? No, because of the card that's under it is very useful. Um, my opponent does take the Aphrodite though for 9 points against me. Why? Because they don't want to reveal what's under here, and they don't want to be pushing in military just yet. But if they did do that, then they could do the Colossus, and then they could do this, and that'd be a 5 push. That pushed me pretty close to losing the game, but then I gain initiative in the next age, and I would push them right back. So, turns out since they took Aphrodite, that means it was my turn, and I just decided to discard it. And I'm thinking maybe they will take the military and go for a 5 push in military, but I think they're hoping to wait it out so that they can maybe get me to grab a gray card. They're thinking they don't want to use this yet unless they have to, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 push versus only a 4 push. I'll be honest, I don't know what was going on in their head, why they didn't take the military here. It surprised me a lot that right here they ended up discarding this card right here. Maybe they thought I only had 4 coins and there was no way I was going to spend 4 coins on something, but I really like that customs house, and even though it's a little redundant because I already had the forum, I said, okay, it'll be good to have 2 yellow cards because I'm going to be discarding a lot of the rest of the game. And then my opponent says, oh, you like yellow cards, eh? I'm going to take that yellow card for myself, and now I have 2 stone for the next age when stone will be valuable. Plus, all my stone costs like very little. So yeah, and they're just wanting more yellow cards. Okay. I find this very often. The player who grabs Great Lighthouse, which gives this power, also ends up getting this power anyways before they ever build the Great Lighthouse. So what's the point of the Great Lighthouse? It's not even that good because if you're not going to build it early, you don't get that effect for the rest of the game to make your resources cheaper. All the wonders you build are missing out on that free gray resource, but yeah, if you're not going for a point strategy, then you need to save up your wonders. And yeah, it just makes sense that you wouldn't build the Great Lighthouse. So it's odd that a card becomes even more useful than the wonder itself. All right. So then, yeah, so I end up discarding the wood for 4 coins, and I'm liking that surge of money right there. And then my opponent goes ahead and discards right here, and thinking that I'm not going to build this god because I like to save my wonders. But here's where I go a little unorthodox, not my normal Michael self. I end up taking this Isis god because I have these discounts. So it's not going to cost very much to make this pyramids, which cost 9 coins, to now cost nothing. And I don't even remember what discarded card I used. It doesn't matter to build it. I just grabbed the first one. It doesn't really matter because my opponent is, as long as I don't take a 2 military, because I might grab a 2 military for Mausoleum, potentially. But my opponent, they end up using an extra turn, their last extra turn, to block me off. And they take the library, and so that it doesn't go into the discard pile. So again, both times they used their extra turns, they used them to cover up or take away a science card from me. So yeah, using their extra turns effectively there. The only issue is now they are missing out on any extra turns in the next stage, whereas I have 1 extra turn in this next stage. And it's possible in the very first couple moves to get 2 science in the next stage, and I could end up with getting theology, which would make me get 2 extra turns. But since I already built pyramids, I'm not going to be able to get 3 extra turns. That theology is very worthless right now. So them seeing that theology was worthless, maybe they should have just saved their extra turn. But in so doing, in taking that extra turn, I'm going to take this card. I'll actually build it because I might need some stone. Make Sphinx cost less. Now it's went from 4 to only 1 coin. My opponent is going to take this one. That's what they were wanting, I'm sure. They wanted those 6 coins. But now I get the first turn in the next stage because neither of us pushed in military. We're smart. We know that not good to push in military, especially in the Pantheon expansion, unless you know that you're going to get it. You got to commit. So yeah, I would say using that extra turn may have been the bad choice, I'm going to say, because they needed to save an extra turn, and if they had not done that, they would have had the first turn in the stage, and they would have been able to have an extra turn saved up. So that's 2 extra turns, the first turn and an extra turn that they could have saved up for this most important age, the 3rd age. Yeah, you both want to have an extra turn in the next stage. If your opponent doesn't have an extra turn, you're going to be sitting pretty, and that's the situation I'm in. I'm sitting pretty, but the problem is I don't see. I'm starting this age, so I choose who begins this age. I don't see a science card in the first 2 cards that are sitting there. So that's already kind of like, ah, dang, I was hoping for an immediate science grab with my 6 coins. And now my economy is fine. You was really suffering beforehand. Um, so yeah, I'm thinking I actually have 12 coins within Star Day. So I was hoping that I would get on the flip, I would get 1 science, and then I'd use my final extra turn to get another science, and bing bang boom, it would be done. So them using that extra turn sealed their fate. They were gonna lose if 1 science was out here, and then the other science I needed was revealed. There's 2 science in age 3, 2 different symbols. Unfortunately, we have 2 identical symbols right here, and the face down one that I need is one of these face down cards is hidden right there. So do I choose my opponent to go first, or do I choose myself to go first? So something you should know just in the Seven Wonders Duel, I'm about to give you guys a really great secret, okay? It's the lines of three. You ready for this? So whenever you see a line of three cards, right, then that's going to reset the you, me, you, me, you, me type of thing. Okay, assuming nobody uses any extra turns, if I take, then I reveal. And if there wasn't this card over here, then it would be I take and then I reveal again. But if we have a line of three or a line of an odd number, then it's I unfortunately reveal one, but now it offsets it, and now they have to reveal two. So do a line of three in age three, and you can see little lines of three. You can make lines of three in age two and in age one. But age three already starts with a line of three sitting there. So you, with that line of three little thing, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but dude, if you see those lines of three cards, you sacrifice yourself seeing the one, or your opponent sees the one card, giving you the ability to see the two. And that's another reason why you'd want to start age three. Okay, so I end up deciding to start, and I think I look at this card to decide which side of the line of three I want to go for. And I don't want my opponent to be killing me in military. I'm very wary of Colossus right now. So I'm going to choose this line to go for. So I'm marching along this line, although I could have done either one. I admit that I'm not going to see this card. My opponent's going to have first dibs on it, and that could have been the science that I needed, and it could have been game over for me. But oddly, my opponent doesn't even take that military card, because then I was going to take this military card, and then I was going to then get first dibs on the science. But they just give me the first dibs on the science anyways. I guess they thought they wanted 5 victory points, so they're thinking it's going to come down to points if it doesn't come down to science. So they're building up their point arsenal. So now we're going to be very wary of how many points are we at. So let's see. Hopefully y'all can see that. Yeah, maybe I'll move myself up a little bit. There. Okay. So you guys need to see. Just don't want to be so far zoomed out, but whatever. This will work. Okay, so there's all the possible points you could see. You see the 6 points for Sphinx, the 2 points for Mausoleum, the 6 points for Astarte. I have 11 coins and 14 points. My opponent is at 26 points and 21 coins. And that's important because now we're playing a little point sword fight because science is not guaranteed yet. And I end up saying, okay, I'll play you with that. And now I'm up at 19 points versus your 26. And remember, I also have a bonus 6 that I'm getting from Astarte. So it's close. It's a close points battle. And then my opponent takes the one that incentivizes you to build the wonders early, giving him 4 coins with the arena. You could do a whole strategy on that card on its own right there, because that is a nice little bonus coins for doing the point strategy, which is to wonder rush and build all your wonders. And if you know your opponent can't win in military or science, go ahead and do that. Get all your wonders built; they're probably worth points, and then get the bunch of coins for arena. There's the strategy video for that, and that just those little couple sentences. But now I end up taking the military card, just pushing them in military, and I'm guessing that they're going to do the same against me, because I realized that this military card would have cost me 6 coins, and I wasn't about to do that, so I'm preemptively pushing them in military, because, like I said, I'm afraid of that Colossus card right there. Okay, so they end up pushing me back as expected. Now I have 1 military card that I could get 1 coin from. And that's kind of why I did it in that order. Plus, I was hoping that they would reveal something for me. And like I said, that was the cheaper of the 2 military cards. So now, they might reveal something for me. There's a palace of 7 points, or this 6-point Pantheon. And remember, I have all of these divinity, these mythology tokens. So a lot of these, unless it's the Roman god, are going to be free. These temples are going to be free for me. So that's great right there. And if you get all the temples, you usually win the game in points. So I am going to. Oh no, my opponent actually, very oddly, they see that I am going to be able to use my extra turn to do something. So I guess they pushed me in military with Colossus. That was funny. And instead of using that Colossus for 7 points, which surprised me there. But yeah, even if they build all of their wonders, I'm still going to be able to get the Sphinx built and to take an extra turn if I needed to. But I don't know, maybe they're trying to bait me into building my wonders, and then that will make it so I don't get the science cards that I'll need. But if you just do the Yumi game, you can see that it's my turn right now, so I'm going to take this one, and they'll take that one, and I get that face down card. Or I take this one, they take that one, I take this one. Any way you slice it, I'm going to be able, most ways you slice it, I'm going to be able to take the face down cards. And so if any of those face down cards are the green science card that I need, then I'm going to win in science. So there are 2 of the 5 cards that are left over in the game. There's 3 removed in every age, right? And there are 2 science cards that one of them would make me win. So there's your things. If you reach into a bag and you have 2 green balls and 3 red balls, and you want to grab the green ones, what are your chances, right? That's just a little combination of statistics right there. So you reach in, and then I think what the first chance would be 2 out of 5. So that's a 40% chance. And then if you don't get it there, then the next draw to try to get 2 of 4 is a 50% chance. So 50% multiplied by 40%, and you look at all the combinations for it, I think it comes out to be about 70% chance of getting at least 1 green ball in 2 draws. And so, yeah, and so that's where I'm sitting at, is a 70% win chance right here. But if I can win in points, I have a 100% win chance. And here we're looking at points. I'm at, my opponent is at 38 points, 22 coins. I'm going to start saying the coins now because that's going to be important, because that's a lot of points already. Every 3 coins is worth a point. So looking at it right there. And then I'm at 28 points, only 7 coins. Don't forget my 6 points for Astarte. Don't forget I'm going to build the Sphinx and get 6 points as well. And now I'm thinking it would be very cool if my opponent didn't take the study, but they're going to take it, because then I could use my my extra turn to take the academy, and then with the study and the academy, I could grab philosophy for 7 points, and so that would be great. But my opponent doesn't let me do that. And that science, the study, gives 3 points, so they're sitting at 22 coins, 41 points. And I'm sitting at 7 coins, 28 points. So not looking so great with points for me. Then I end up discarding that 7 pointer, because I see there's no a 7-point card in the discard pile, and if it's coming down to points, you want Mausoleum to have a chance at grabbing a high point card, so a 7-point card or one of these Grand Temples. YuvyJelly ends up taking one of those Grand Temples. They just pay 2 coins for it, so they're sitting at 20 coins, 41 points. I'm sitting at 13 coins, 28 points. Then there's the science that I need. It pops up right there, and so I say, all right, perfect. Like, I'm gonna win the game. I'm at 5 science symbols. I just need 1 more, and so I think at this point my opponent gives me a GG. They do use a yellow card to build a 4-point lighthouse, which is fine and all. But I end up taking the university here, which helps out and gives me 7 points. And then I guess I take law first just uh, for kicks, and then I do take those 7 points. So now the points are closer. So my opponent's at 18 coins and 45 points. I'm at 11 and 39. So I caught up a lot with taking the the philosophy token, which I was trying to take, but I wouldn't have been able to take it without those 2 science cards. So got lucky there. Then my opponent does take that Grand Temple, and then I use the Sphinx right there. I see they don't have that wonder built, so I could build all 7 wonders. I build the Sphinx there to move up to 45 points, and then I use that final card to build the mausoleum and then call it good and build that 7 point card. But just to show you the final point distribution here, it actually came pretty close because my opponent did have 2 points in military. It ended up being a 3 point difference at that very end. So always exciting when it comes down to the nitty gritty and the points at the end. So there you have it. So hopefully that there was a lot of lessons that I spouted out right there. A lot of them dealing with how to fight with points. Because as I was playing this game, I actually was thinking like this would be a good use case to teach somebody who's going for science a lot of times how they should not give up hope and try for points and uh, and and see how they can maximize their point benefits. So I think that's the biggest takeaway of this. There was a little bit of science statistics in there about like, hey, you don't worry, you still might have a 70% chance of winning in science, but also maximizing your benefits, grabbing any tokens that you can grab, saving the Starte coins, making sure a 7 point card is in the discard pile for when you grab Mausoleum, all those things. So yeah, and make sure you value Sphinx higher than the Sanctuary if you think it might come down to points. Yeah, those 6 points are pretty valuable. Uh, anyways, thank you so much for watching this little replay of the finale of the Pantheoner tournament. And hopefully, you all learned a lot and have a great rest of your day. Bye.